certain things that I would see, because sometimes you'll see other people's relationships via social media, just different things, movies, whatever it may be. And I got to a point where I just thought that those things are not possible for me. I keep failing at relationships, and they're just not working out. It just won't be me. I won't be happy. I won't find that. Yep. And then God, just decided to send this person into my life, and he loved me unconditionally. But not only that, did he love me unconditionally? He loved my child. How somebody can come into your life and take your child as if it's theirs and love them just as much as they love you. And that was so beautiful and touching to me. And I'm just so thankful and grateful to God that he, allowed me to have a second chance at marriage, at love, and to know what it really feels like, because just because you're married, that don't mean that that's what it is. But I actually know what it is. And I love it.
Let me ask you this. Why do you think God has purposed you and Emanuel to be married? Dear Future Wifey.
Okay, scripturally, the Bible says your Father has already designed and purposed you.
I experienced an invitation of God this morning.
So you got to become an elite decision maker.
Elite decision maker.
He said, because you are one fleshly decision away from losing it all.
Etched in my mind is what true submission to Christ looks like.
I got to maintain that secret connection I have with God.
I'm so full and don't want to belabor this letter.
And I understand how important it is for men to disciple men, because if I didn't have that, I wouldn't be where I am today.
I've traded worldly pleasures to live a God-centered life.
The encounter I just had, I just need to rest in it.
Help us to be considerate, creative, and courageous lovers.
I love you. Your future hubby. Welcome to the Dear Future Wifey podcast. I'm your host, Latera Star Whitfield. Listen, are you still shacking up with us? If you're still shacking up with us, can we get a commitment? Hit that subscription button and subscribe. Make sure you turn on your notification bell so you'll be notified about upcoming episodes. And why don't you head over to Patreon and join us on Patreon? We're going to be releasing some BTS footage of some of the guests behind the scenes, my journey, my travel. I'm about to start really diving deeper into my book, writing my book. And so I'll take you on that journey as I write this book. You know what? There's certain people that come across your path that you've met in the past. One of my guests I met in the past, they were in one of my productions. Another person, I was introduced to them by their viral videos, and an amazing, amazing vocalist. And y'all know how I believe in dating in private until it's permanent. Well, this couple is the epitome of that. Without further ado, welcome to the Dear Future Wifey podcast. My homie, Emanuel, a.k.a. The Truth Lambert, and my homie, BRI BABINEAUX-LAMBERT. How you doing, Queen?
We doing
King?
good.
We doing fantastic.
Doing good.
What's going on with you?
Listen, let me tell y'all something. Y'all not even married 30 days. And you can tell because y'all keep touching on each other. Y'all keep kissing on each other. We sitting up there eating breakfast. Y'all over here, when you take a bite, she take a bite. Like, what are y'all doing? What is going on over here?
We just in sync,
Y'all in sync?
We just in sync.
Is this what love looks like?
This is what it looks like.
No,
Okay.
seriously.
So y'all said, I don't know if y'all had a conversation prior to this about saying we gonna be private until it's permanent. Did y'all have that conversation, or did it just happen?
Yes, we did.
Y'all did.
Yes.
Why was that important?
I think, once you invite the court of public opinion into your space, it has the potential of creating a lot of problems that are unnecessary.
Yeah.
And so for us, there's already, what it takes to kind of cultivate a relationship already is, it's work.
Yeah.
And the last thing that we kind of wanted was to have to, work with amongst ourselves while at the same time grapple with
the outside noise.
Outside noise.
Yeah.
And so kind of keeping things private helps us to maintain our sanity, maintain our peace, and cultivate a relationship without having to wrestle with the outside noise. So,
well, speaking of noise, you came to the hearts of people because of the joyful noise that you made, Bree, on your viral videos. You were probably about 19 years old at the time. Would you say that?
I was 19,
About 19, there was a video where you were singing with a group of your choir praise team. Y'all were just sitting in the house singing. In another video, you were sitting on the couch, similar to this, just sitting on the couch, and you were singing this song that touched the hearts and minds of about 7.8 million people when I looked at it today. And can I trouble you for a minute? Can I just trouble you? Because I don't want the people being mad at me.
That's
saying,
Old Baptist Church.
Yeah, can I trouble you for a minute? See, so you know I've been saved a long time. Can I trouble you for a minute to bless the people of God with that song to remind them of who BRI BABINEAUX is?
Okay. Exceedingly, abundantly, above all you could ask or think, according to the power that worketh in you.
Mama.
God is able to do just what he said he would do. He's gonna fulfill every promise to you. Hey, don't give up on God, 'cause he won't give up on you. He's able. Oh, my drums.
Hey.
Yeah. She's able. Okay, well, we don't have a choir, but if we did, they would have joined in right about now.
I want you to act up a little bit. Do all that. Do that little part. Do that little stuff you were doing. I'm telling you, I had listened to it a minute ago, and I fell on the floor, and I said,
he was on the floor, literally on the floor.
God, you were able. You was able back then. You're still able now. Can you just act up for the people of God? Can you just? Because I know it's early in the
have
morning.
the background for me.
So you blaming us now?
Well, I mean, I did have a choir, and I had some, keyboard and a little drum. So y'all gonna help me?
Can you ad lib without all that?
Well, not a beat. I don't even get a beat. Nothing.
Here you go, right there. There it is.
I need something. Just say he's able.
Okay, we got you. He's able.
He's able.
He's able.
He's able.
He's able.
God is.
He's able.
My God is.
He's able.
I'm leaning on you.
He's able.
I'm trusting in you.
He's able.
I'm calling on you.
He's able.
I'm dependent on you.
He's able.
You won't leave me.
He's able.
You won't fail me.
He's able.
Say you're able.
He's able.
Say you're able.
He's able.
To do exceedingly.
He's able.
To do abundantly.
He's able.
You're able.
He's able.
You're able.
He's able.
So don't give up on God, 'cause he won't give up on you. Can you help me say, don't give up. Don't give up on God. 'Cause he won't give up on you. Please don't give up. Don't give up on God. 'Cause he won't give up on you. He's able.
Yes.
You put me on the spot.
I had to put you on the spot. Listen, I don't want the
We're going to have a choir the next time.
We're going to have a choir the next time. We're going to have some musicians, and we're going to do a whole concert.
Yeah.
We're going to do something.
Let's
Matter of
do
fact, for the 5-year Dear Future Wifey anniversary that's coming up April the 15th, I'm going to just put something together.
Put something together.
And I'm going to trouble y'all again, and I'm going to hire y'all to this time. While I trouble y'all, I'm going to hire y'all while I'm troubling y'all. And that means I'm going to pay y'all to go produce a theme song, another song for Dear Future Wifey.
Easy.
We got you.
And it'll be a couple song.
Done.
We got
powerful.
you.
So we'll do that. We'll do that. That'll be amazing. So y'all said that y'all were intentional on making sure that this was private until it's public. Was that hard?
No, I don't think it was hard at all because we're already private people.
Okay.
So I think that part was fairly easy. What you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
So, but y'all had like a circle of trusted people that knew about y'all's courtship that y'all leaned on?
Most definitely.
And that's
yeah.
the space we stayed in, you know? We kind of just stayed in our circle, stayed pretty insulated, which was, even being insulated was a lot of people.
It was a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because you have a big family?
Yeah, well, yes. An extremely big family.
I have a big family.
You do?
I really do.
Yeah, family, friends, some leaders. We actually were not only intentional about, just kind of building our relationship, but we were building a community, or surrounding ourselves. It was a community that was already in place for all of us. I mean, for both of us. But we just surrounded ourselves with voices and people that could really walk with us on the entire journey. In fact, like when you saw, people saw pictures from the ceremony, and everybody that was there were people that walked with us, not even just in our relationship, but just
privately, in our own separate journeys.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many people were at the wedding?
50.
Yep.
All right, so it was a small, intimate
Very
wedding.
Kept
small.
it really small. Yeah.
And so my question is, I want y'all to explain the difference between privacy versus secrecy.
Oof. Excellent.
Because some people may think, they were being secret because they were doing something they ain't had no business doing. So explain the difference between privacy and secrecy.
Yeah, I think that the difference is there were actually people involved.
Yeah. Right.
It wasn't a secret. I think where the challenge is we live in a culture of oversharing. Where people are kind of bringing you into their minute by minute.
Yeah.
And so secrecy can easily be misconstrued, because if you're not giving everybody your day-to-day,
Day-to-day life, yep.
they naturally assume you're doing something in secret,
Yeah.
So I think that, the difference would be we weren't hiding. We were just using discretion and being wise in who we selected to kind of be around us at the time.
Yeah.
How many years were you married prior to this, Emanuel?
21.
21. And what about you, Bree?
5.
5. What did y'all learn from y'all's past marriage about yourself coming into this marriage?
I'll go first.
There you go.
So one big thing for me was not going into a relationship broken. I was deeply broken, and I had a lot of, not knowing this beforehand, but in doing therapy, I found out that I was in a lot of trauma bonding relationships. And not getting the proper help, not, talking to therapists, and not working on things like within myself, things that I had dealt with as a child, that kind of, trickled over, and, the terminology hurt people. So I would, encourage any person, before you get into any type of relationship, just make sure that you are whole in your best self, So that was one of the things that I learned.
So are you saying prior to getting into your last marriage, you knew that you were broken, hindsight being 20/20?
Most definitely.
How did that show up in your marriage?
So it showed up in a lot of ways. Trust issues.
So you felt like you were very insecure?
I was. Prior to what I went through in previous relationships, yes, I didn't trust.
Yeah.
And I felt, what's the word I want to use? I felt kind of, I won't say necessarily insecure, but because of what I went through, I kind of attacked. Okay, so I'm gonna get deep.
Go ahead.
Let's go.
Let's talk.
So I was in a relationship, and it wasn't good. It wasn't the best. It was trauma, and I ended up having a trauma bond with somebody, and that's real. And I didn't even know that those things existed. And I trauma bonded, but I trauma bonded because what I wanted that person to do, this other person did.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
So you're talking about the relationship before your marriage, you trauma bonded on.
the relationship before my first marriage wasn't good.
Right.
And what I wanted him to do in the relationship when I was in the relationship with him.
Right.
When I got into the relationship with this, well, it wasn't even a relationship. We were just talking.
Yeah.
And he was literally everything that I wanted the other one to be, and
Yeah.
that made sense.
Yeah.
Again, I wasn't whole.
Right.
You see, I was broken, so I went into that damaged, and because I was damaged, I, had a problem, not had a problem, but trusting was an issue, or like sometimes, because you don't feel love or you don't feel seen. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was a lot of things, and it necessarily wasn't on him, but it was things that I needed to address
Within yourself.
within myself, and I didn't.
So instead of the issues and the brokenness that you took into the marriage, instead of healing those wounds, it exasperated those wounds and made it worse. And then basically whatever issues he was dealing with compounded with the issues that you dealt with and caused the demise of your marriage. Is that
Correct.
safe to say? Emanuel, what about you? 21 years of marriage. What did you learn about yourself coming out of your past marriage?
Yeah, I think it's actually very similar. The expression of it is different. I think coming into relationships broken is a very, very real thing. And just let me say this. I think we are in a very interesting time in terms of how we talk about our deficiencies.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of different camps. So some camps want you to say you sinned.
Right.
Say you sinned.
Some people are okay with saying I was broken. I didn't use wisdom. Whatever. Other people, the expectation is for you to call it what the Bible calls it. And I think in fairness to everyone, as I reflect on my journey, definitely went in not just into the marriage broken, went into the relationship broken, even the dating phase.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely went in broken for sure. And I think the other piece to this is you go in broken hoping that the relationship can heal it.
Yep.
And maybe in some instances it can. In my instance, it did, in my situation, it didn't. And I did what broken people do. That's broken people break things.
Yeah.
And so out of my brokenness, I made poor choices, had indiscretions, infidelity, my brokenness just found expression in those spaces, compromising the integrity of the covenant of my relationship with my former spouse. And so I think that, for me, the lessons that I learned, and I'm going to say it this way, the lessons to learn for me was to learn the lessons. Because you can feel like you learned the lesson before. Mm-hmm. So the lesson for me is really learn the lesson. Yeah.
This time around, learn it.
Yeah, really learn the lessons. And so with that, unfortunately, the relationship didn't work because of that brokenness, because of those indiscretions, because of my sin. And 2023 is when the marriage ended. And, I'm gonna be honest, I hated singleness.
Why? Because most time you've been in bondage. Because sometimes people look at marriage as bondage. You've been in bondage for 21 years.
That's not how I view marriage.
how you view marriage?
I think marriage is amazing.
Exactly.
And
so now you get your freedom though. Why didn't you say I'm 21 years in marriage and now I get a chance to be free for the first time in my adult life. Yeah. I'm about to wild out.
No.
Why not?
Because number one, and Bree and I talk about this too, the covenant that you make is with the person that you're with, but it's also to God. For me, it and not that I lived my single life perfectly, but at the end of the day, when I lay my head on my pillow at night, my commitment was to the Lord, to honoring him with my life and my conduct and my speech.
Yeah.
And my, decision making. You know what I mean? And so I couldn't just step outside and just, I'm free. I didn't necessarily feel free.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Why not? Is it because of the mantle over your life?
Yeah, 1,000%. The mantle over my life. And I do love marriage, So I think the mantle on my life, that's one reason. The fact that I love marriage was another reason. And I just think even if I didn't have the mantle on my life that I have as a believer, just as a believer, just as a follower of Jesus, I got a responsibility, to follow him wholeheartedly and passionately and walk in obedience and integrity, just as a man.
So let's back up. When we say mantle over your life, people may not know what your background is, because some people may know you as an artist, as a rapper. Mm-hmm. Some people may know you as the preacher. Yeah. They don't know that you may not know both versions. So who are you? How do you qualify who you are biblically? Why you laughing? Because y'all had this conversation.
We have this conversation all the time. So I want to see what he gonna say.
Okay, so I push back on the pastor thing, even though
why? Only
because, if you think about the fivefold ministry, teacher, evangelist, prophet, apostle, teacher.
Yeah.
I am a teacher evangelist, period.
Okay.
I am not pastoral. When you are pastoral, you have a shepherd's heart. Shepherds smell like sheep. Shepherds want to roll up their sleeves and go to the hospital, and they want to be with the people. They want to be on the ground. That's what a shepherd is.
All right. So Bree, do you disagree with that?
What? Disagree with what he's saying?
Yeah.
I don't disagree with what he's saying.
Yeah.
Well, you said y'all have this conversation all the time.
We had this conversation, and we know he a teacher, because I don't want that responsibility as a first lady. It's absolutely not. The Lord know me, and he know that. No.
Watch God have the last laugh.
See, that's what everybody. Yeah. This is the tension.
Yeah,
that's where everybody else that's not us lands.
Yeah, I'd be like, okay.
But for us, it's. I really do understand my role. I'm a teacher, and I'm a teaching pastor at my church, but I think. Ultimately, God has graced me to be a teacher, to be evangelist. And the way that all of that finds expression is through the medium of the arts. So that's how those two worlds come together.
Yeah.
So the truth is, it's hard for me to just write cool, fun songs.
Yeah.
I write out of that teacher evangelist space. So, yeah.
And your divorce was final what year?
My divorce we separated in 2022.
And then divorce was final what year?
We filed in 2023. Yeah.
And so at the time that you were going through your divorce is final, did y'all know each other prior to this?
Mm-mm.
Y'all ain't never.
We had this talk last night too.
We just had this talk last night. It was funny. I didn't know. Well, no, okay, wait.
Yeah. Wait. You said it's horrible.
You said it's horrible. Okay, so I didn't. I promise to God I didn't. So
you didn't know who he was at all?
So this is the thing. So my daddy was a fan. So, I knew him because of that, but this was
of him, but didn't know him.
This was like in what? When did you and Kirk do that song?
2007.
Okay, yeah, God like me, you like me, So I heard, I'll never forget my daddy bringing us all in the room. Man, let me let y'all listen to this song, and he played it. And I was like, oh, that's okay. But then that's it. You know what I'm saying? After that was just it. So when he
still in your DM.
I know what
when he reached out.
Did we go like that?
Go ahead, he'll slid in your DM.
When he reached out, listen. When he reached out, okay. Listen, when he reached out, I inquired. I was like, okay, who is? Because it wasn't. Clicking. Because I don't listen. I wasn't before him. I listen to it now. I wasn't listening to gospel rap. I'm going to be honest, okay? Yeah. I don't listen to rap. Never did. That's just wasn't my little whole thing.
Yeah.
So I inquired about him and stuff like that. And I didn't get any negative thing, from him. Nobody said anything negative about him or anything like that. But again, when he reached out, it wasn't on any type of, the first time he reached out, it wasn't on any type of like funny business and stuff like that, because, it
was business.
Again, it was business. And then, like everybody, I thought he was married. So I didn't want my name
attached to that.
Oh, baby. Let me tell you something. No.
If y'all haven't realized, Bree lives and is from Louisiana.
Yeah,
so I want y'all to let that rest. Hey, baby.
Because I didn't want no funny business. No, So I was like, and then I saw a few pictures, and he had, a ring on, and then I didn't see a ring, so I was confused. So I was like, because you know what I'm saying? I don't need any. I don't want any of that. So, and it was good because, it was just about music and stuff.
Why you keep laughing about that? So did you have ulterior motives?
I think so, a little bit.
So when you reached out to him on business,
okay. So here's the thing. So here's the thing. Yes. Okay, yes, there was an ulterior motive. But I'm going to say it was 50-50, maybe 60-40.
Why?
Because I legitimately wanted to, because she's dope. So I asked her, did she write? And I was working on a gospel album. So I do A&R work too.
Okay.
So I work with all different types of artists. Yeah. So I was working on a gospel artist project at the time, and I was curating some writers, pulling some writers together. See, stop it. So I was pulling some. See, this is terrible. This is hard. So I was pulling some writers together. Some singers. I was looking. And
doing your A&R.
So doing my A&R work.
It's good A&R work.
I was doing my good A&R work, and Bree came to mind, and so I reached out and asked her. If she was open to doing some writing for this project, and asked her to send me some material, which I would have used. She never sent it to me.
Well, I was working on my project at the time, and I told him that, but it was good. Like, it was no funny business. I told him that I said, oh yeah, my dad, the fam loves you and stuff like that. It was really simple. That was when that was. You reached out
earlier this year.
Yeah. Okay.
No, sorry. Early next year. Earlier last year.
Yeah, 2024.
Okay, so that was that, and then I didn't hear back from you. Oh, I did hear back from you one time.
Yeah. Well, so the thing was, I was really, really. There was a lot of trepidation for a lot of reasons. Number one, neither one of us knew if either one of us was still married. That was one thing.
And it was kind of hard to just throw that question in there. Yeah, both of us
had the same reservation, even though once I finally pulled the trigger, I just came out and asked. But we both had that reservation. We wanted to respect that, right? So that was one thing. The other thing was, wait, what was the question?
The question was, what
time did when you reached out to the second time you came back around, you reached out to her, asked about XYZ.
So the second thing was, and this is legit, God had me in a standstill season. But like in that single space, I was in a don't move. Like, don't move, don't, and I was kind of like itching. I was itching to move because I was tired of the single life. But I was really holding fast to that. I thought it was important to go through that season. Difficult, very, very extremely difficult season. So I did want to try to keep it, but I was interested and I wanted to see what was going on with her. But at the same time, I was trying to honor God and being still.
So what brought the curiosity? Because at that point, you don't know nothing about her.
Yeah, me too. I want to know that.
Please,
What brought that curiosity?
Well, first of all, she's gorgeous. See, I can't do y'all two. This is just. This is how it's gonna be. I'm done.
This is how we be at home.
I'm done.
But let's hear. We want to hear.
So, see, this is the blush. Now this is horrible.
It's horrible.
Okay. So, first of all, she's gorgeous. So I think one of her videos or something was swirling around.
It was swirling.
Said, well, all right.
All right now.
Well, all right. So that was one. The second thing was, so I started looking at her page, because Instagram does give you a snapshot.
It sure does.
It can give you a snapshot.
You just keep looking at all of them and form story.
1000%. You surely can. Yeah. And so I think what really stood out to me was how comprehensive her life was.
How comprehensive.
Yeah.
That's the word we're going with.
Yeah, that's the word we're going with. How comprehensive her life was.
Okay.
She seemed to be a complete person. And when you're in that space of singleness, you do see a lot of different types of women.
Hold on, I want you to stay here for a minute, because you're doing a social media audit, and that's literally how I look at a woman. If I meet her or whatever, I'll look and I'll be like, what is she talking about? What's important? But I want you to break down, as a man that chose her to be your wife. Yeah. What were you auditing on her page? What did you see? Tell me what you saw.
Well, the one thing that I'm looking for is depth. Because the pool tends to be shallow, unfortunately, at least in the social media space. I'm not saying all women are shallow. So what I am saying is that in the social media space, the way that women oftentimes portray themselves can be very shallow. You see, I'm choosing my language.
You've been very PR right now. I'll interpret. What happens is, a lot of times, if you go to somebody's page and they got all these selfies, I done seen it yesterday. You thought I need to see you today.
So every which way.
Every picture is selfie. You're showing your assets all on there. And it's just that. I don't see what you like. I don't see you going on trips, things that you find of importance. I may see a little puppy in one picture. That's the heartbeat of your life. I need to be able to look at your social media page and see what interests you by what you decide to take a picture of and share it with the world. And if all you are sharing is you, is giving me the image that the most important thing in this world of yours is you.
Yeah, everything orbits around you.
Period.
Yeah. And I don't know if women know that, I think it's important for men to communicate this to them.
Right.
Because a lot of women, I think, are just acting out of what they believe men want.
Right.
Yeah.
What did you see on her page?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So, but what I saw on her page was a few selfies, which was awesome, and they were all gorgeous. But then I saw moments that she's just in the Word and worshiping, and that's really just her nature. If you track her from the time she was 19,
yes,
that's what you're gonna find. She's either we did it earlier today from that clip where she's on the couch worshiping. Her claim to fame is the viral moment where she's worshiping, and to see her, X amount of years later, still worshiping with the Word, it's like, okay, that's dope. And then the next slide, you see her doing something cutesy, trying little stuff on and being a girl, being a woman, and just being feminine. And, okay, that's dope. Then you run into, she's at a concert, and it's like, and she's killing it. She's doing her thing, or it's backstage footage, or it's, okay, that's dope. So you kind of get a picture of this, this life that has a lot of different, what's the word I'm looking for? Components, you know what I'm saying? That's multifaceted. And I think that was really attractive to me. What it did was it piqued my interest to say, I'd like to get to know who this person is in their totality.
Good.
And so that was
and then how did you approach?
And so when I finally approached, because every approach prior to the actual approach was music related.
And I was kind of giving him the stiff arm.
She was actually kind of cold. I was like, okay, all right.
Was it just by DM? Did you have a conversation with him when you were giving them stiff arm? Did you give him your number at all?
No, but but I tell you what though. But let me tell you something.
She said, I don't do that.
But let me tell you something though.
I don't do that. No.
But actually, to understand the reasons for which she decided to not respond gives me, the Bible talks about how, the heart of a man trusteth in his wife. It's like trust is really important. A lot of times people associate trust with the woman. Can she trust him? But the question is really, can he trust her as well?
That's what the Bible says.
That's what the scripture. That's what the Proverbs say.
The Proverbs 31 woman is a woman who her husband can fully trust in.
Trust 1,000%.
For trusting her.
And to know that she stiff-armed me when she thought maybe I was married gives me the confidence of knowing she's gonna stiff-arm everybody who's coming sideways, because don't nobody be caring no more. So I think, for me, once I finally decided, it took a lot, I was sweating, but once I finally decided to say something to her, I just texted her, I DM'd her, and I said, hey, do you mind if I ask you a question, but I need to talk to you or text you if that's cool? And so she said, no problem.
But I didn't do that right away.
I was sweating a little bit. Oh yeah, she did respond. Excuse me. She said,
I gave you a little bit more time.
But I thought you didn't do that on purpose. See? See?
Well, listen.
You were playing hard to get.
No, but okay, so let me go ahead on and
talk to the camera right there.
Okay, let me let y'all know something real quick. So I didn't know Instagram, you could actually go into a message, and when you read it, you know how you can get out and put unread, but they still can see that you saw it. So I went and read it, and then I unread it, not knowing the whole time he had then saw that I read it. So
that was awful.
Well,
because a day felt like a minute.
Were you waiting
like
on somebody?
1,000%.
It was like what? How many minutes?
It was like 13 minutes. I counted it. It was about 13 minutes. Oh my God. It was the longest 13 minutes of my. I called my homie. I was like,
oh Jesus!
I said, bro, she ain't say nothing. Bro. I think it might be over.
It's over before it even started.
I think it might before we even.
Yeah,
I think this is it. I did my best. Okay,
I did my best.
I gave it all I could.
I gave it all I had, bro. Listen, I stepped out there.
See, women don't understand this. So we laughing at this, but this is a real moment. Like, men, when we put ourselves out there.
Because it takes a lot.
Yes, and it's so hard. And what he's saying, you say, but all he did was ask.
No.
He said he had a question to ask you.
Yeah.
If you leave that man on red.
I was sweating.
For days and weeks, he'd be like, what?
I said, okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay, mommy.
Okay.
It worked out for him. You don't have to apologize.
It worked out for me. So eventually, she did respond, no problem.
No problem.
That's not a problem or no problem, something like that.
And then she sent your number?
She sent her number. I called my guy. I was like, bro. It was almost like she said yes. That's what it felt like.
All she did was give you a number to ask the question that she don't know the answer to. And she don't know what the question is.
So I reached out and I broke. It was an icebreaker. She was on tour at the time. So
and I was sick too.
Very sick. She was very sick at the time. And she was on the road. And so I was trying
Slide the microphone up closer to you.
Sorry.
Right there.
So I was trying to break the ice. We got these instructions. I'm sorry. We definitely got these instructions. I mean, clear. Sorry. Okay.
See, we got these instructions.
We definitely did.
From Rihanna.
From Rihanna. Shout out to Riri.
Shout out to Riri. Shout out to Riri in the building.
Y'all can't see Riri, but she's holding all the production down. Yes, come on, Riri. Okay. What was I saying?
Okay.
So
I was on tour.
Reached out. So she was on tour. So I'm trying to break the ice. She's like, I said, hey, Bree. Hey. I said, okay. It's just going to be a ride. It's about to be a ride. I said, how you doing? Yada, yada, yada. How's the tour going? So that was my icebreaker.
That's all you had in you.
It's all you so I went, how's the tour going? She's telling me.
How's the tour going?
So then I'm going a little deeper. Is this your passion? Are you enjoying it? I'm asking about her singing ministry versus this. So I'm going there. So I'm pressing in. I think I could feel the ice chiseling away, melting a bit. and thawing. And then
how would you feel at that moment? She said, "What did you said you want to ask me
what
a question?
you want?
What do you want?
What do you
ask
want?
me that question?
Well, he ended up after we talked because that conversation was good.
She could tell I was moving things along to get somewhere. Yeah,
because I'm gonna let you know what that response was.
Yeah. So I said, hey, I think I'm gonna just get the brass tacks. I said, are you married?
I said, oh, we getting straight to it, huh? That was literally my response. Yeah. We getting straight to it, huh?
And she started cracking up. I think that was the actual icebreaker. That
right
broke
there.
it. Yeah, that broke everything.
And from that...
And what'd you say?
I told him no. And then from that, we went into... How long was our conversation?
That first conversation was like 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
That was the first
And you
one.
were sick.
It didn't matter. She's talking to me.
Sick.
I'm her cute.
Wait a minute.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You know what I mean?
He said, I'm her cure.
I was sick. My baby was sick. Like it was, I had bronchitis and didn't even know it. And he had it too. So I was like, oh, Jesus, I was going through.
So why you still on the phone with him that long?
Well, let me tell you.
See, humble myself.
I'm a humble myself. Listen, so as we're talking and everything like that, this is what he said. So after, I told him my whole spiel, I, asked him if he was married because I thought he was married. He told me his whole spiel and stuff like that. Then we got into the nitty gritty. The nitty gritty was just like this. He said, well, listen, he said, I've been watching you. He said, and I don't know you. He said, but what I've seen, he said, I want to get to know you. He said, I want to date you. He said, I want to fly you to a discreet location and we have dinner. He said, and I want to do things that you want to do. And let me tell you something.
Not too bad. I forgot about that. Not too shabby.
True.
I forgot. Not too shabby.
Sorry.
He said, I want to fly you to a discreet location.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I'm thinking I know who we both are.
I want to do. And get to know you. And now this was the funny part. He said, and I'm not saying, I want to marry you or anything. That's what he said.
That's how you do it. You got to balance it out.
But he said, I do want to date you. So what I appreciated was the simple fact of the matter was he let me know what his intentions were. Right. And the way he came at me was just, I ain't never had a man come at me like that. And then he went on to say, and I didn't want to do this via the phone. I really wanted to do this in person, but our paths never crossed for me to be able to have this conversation with you in person. Let me tell you something.
Because I did try to connect with you in person.
You did, because let me tell you something. My God. I said, now, who are you? You know what I mean? Like he literally made me do because I had never experienced that in my life. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Any person I ever talked to, I had never experienced that.
Wow.
We went on further in the conversation where we were talking about, different things. We were talking about, he asked me if I wanted to be married. I told him no. I said, I don't want to be married again. I said, did that, done that. That ain't for me. I said, if, that were to even be something for me to consider, I said, I would have to know that it was God ordained. I said, literally the man would have to come and sweep me off my feet. Not thinking any of that was going to happen. You know what I'm saying? But, I was serious and I told him, I didn't want to waste his time if that was something that he was interested in. I didn't want to hold him back from that because I knew that wasn't a desire for me to be married. That I was content and fine, happy with me and my baby. I was good with that. I was really good with that. And I asked him, I said, well, do you want to be married? He said, oh yeah, I love marriage. I was like, what? What is going, what? You love this? He was like, I love it. And he gave the whole spiel of, why he loved marriage and everything like that. And we talked about kids and stuff. I asked him, if he wanted to have any more kids. He was like, oh no, I'm done. No more children. He asked me the same thing. I told him, I said, if God did that and I was to get married and, my spouse didn't have any kids, I would never withhold him from having a seed. You know what I'm saying? But that wasn't even on my, list, to have more children, And my God, things have changed. We've married, and we want to have more kids, but I say all of that to say it, when you've found your person, all of what you thought was supposed to be will be erased. You know what I mean? When it's right, it's right. I remember telling my dad when I first told my dad about Emanuel. And I said, I met somebody. He said, what? I said, I met somebody. I said, I think you know him. I know him. I said, I do. I said, but let me tell you more about him first before I tell you who he is, And I began to tell him, just how, me and Emanuel, we literally would be on the phone for like 7 hours, 8 hours, just talking. And I'm not sitting there talking about what your day was like. Oh, okay, you had a show. Oh, how was that? Not no little basic stuff. Yeah. I mean, like in-depth conversation. He asking me questions. He talking about the Enneagram. I mean, just all kind of stuff. Yeah. What's your love language? Just in-depth conversations, trying to know each other. And one of the things that really kind of like made me be like, oh my God, like he's just a gem, is the fact that he cared about what I had to say. Like he wanted to know what I had to say. Wow. Like he wanted to get an understanding. Like before we moved on to the topic, if it was something that, he wasn't kind of understanding, he would park right there and be like, okay, so when you saying like what do you mean? Like he wanted to know in depth, whatever it was. He wanted to have a full understanding before we moved on to the next topic. And I had never been with somebody that was that in tune with me and that cared, honestly cared about what I had to say. Like he made me feel like a woman. I didn't even know what that felt like.
Jesus.
To have somebody make you feel, you know what I'm saying, like a woman. Just I could just go on and on and on and on and on, but just those little things really like captivated me, and I was just like, oh my God, like he is definitely a jewel. And I was telling my dad I told my dad all of those things, and my daddy told me, he said, child, this how he talk. He said, child, he said, I'm gonna let you know this now. He said, that man is looking for a wife. I said, huh? He said that man is looking for a wife. He said the types of conversations that y'all having, the long hours that y'all, no man ain't gonna be just sitting there talking on the phone. You know what I'm saying? No man is gonna do that.
Facts.
He is letting, like he telling you what it is. He letting his intentions be known of what it is, and he is looking for a wife. He said, and I hope you are ready for that.
Ooh. Come on, LJ.
So your dad just challenged you?
Oh yeah, he did. Oh that's what my daddy. He's a challenger.
So what did he see in you during that time that may not have been fashioned at that time to be a wife? You hear a lot of people that saying they waiting on a husband, but they're not wives. And if we got really honest about that, you're saying, I don't believe that this right here exists, but if this right here came to you, oftentimes due to your past hurt, your mindset where you sitting up there saying, I don't want to get married. But truthfully speaking, and I can say honestly, you probably honestly felt like that, but I will tell you that the reason why you felt like that is because of the viewpoint that you had in marriage, because you felt like I can't have what I really desire and will fulfill me. I don't believe it exists in my life, and I'm gonna be okay with. I'm just not gonna have that.
And that's what it was for me.
It may work for everybody else, but I ain't got it.
That's what it was for me. And I would go to my therapist. And I needed therapy. God knows I needed. I'm still in therapy.
Amen.
You know what I mean? Because if I need a session, baby. Baby, I need you to get on this phone. Help me. You know, but where I was during that time, I was getting therapy to make sure that I was whole for me and my son. It wasn't, necessarily to be whole for a husband because I wasn't thinking about no husband.
Yeah.
And my therapist knew that.
So did your dad have real talks with you in the past to be like, hey, as a wife, you need to be more like this. You kind of this. You're a little too mouthy, or you too this, or you too
Most
combative.
definitely. That ain't just my daddy, baby. That's everybody. You know what I'm saying? I'm something. We all are. To a certain degree. But
She said everybody.
But what I will say is,
Everybody.
in any relationship that I've ever been in, I've always showed my true self.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you me. I'm gonna give you me all day and night. You ain't, you know what I'm saying?
You ain't got to guess.
You ain't gonna have to guess with me, baby. I'm gonna show you. So it was certain things that when he said that, I'm not gonna lie, I did. It made me take a step back because before Emanuel had came in my life, I didn't want to be married. I wasn't looking for no husband. That wasn't on my plan.
Yeah.
So as we went deeper in conversation, feelings started to, take root, and I started looking at him differently, but not realizing, I was in therapy, but I wasn't in therapy to heal properly for a husband. I was just in therapy for me to be whole and to be the best version of myself for me and for my child. So as we got deeper, I had to realize, hey, I had to go back to therapy and start, working on, myself for a wife. Okay, I may have gotten out of line. Hey, let me tell you something. Me and Emanuel, we went quick in the process. We had you have like the little, past the infatuation stage.
Yeah.
We did all that, and then we had some times where we.
Yeah.
We gonna be honest.
Heads.
We bumped heads.
Yeah.
And he had
Which I love, actually.
You know what
me
I'm saying?
too.
I call
Because I want to see how you handle conflict.
1000%.
I want to see if when we handle conflict, do you isolate? Do you start ignoring me? Do you start blocking me? All that toxic stuff? Or do we sit there and be like, hey, give me a moment. I'm going to call you back in an hour. Let me see how you handle conflict, because marriage will bring conflict.
Yeah.
I need to know if you're able to deal with this.
Yes.
Most definitely. And for us, we would hit little things, and sometimes like we had to learn each other. Like, okay, I was accustomed to a certain thing where, okay, situations arise and I don't want to talk. I just want to kind of withdraw. And he was like, I want to talk, which I used to be that person where I can talk in a moment, but
after going through life, you realize
I can't do that right now. I'm not ready to do that right now. So we hit some bumps, and I had to, I may have gotten a little snappy with him and he had to check me. What we're not going to do is you're not going to talk to me like that, which was different because people were scared to put me in my place. But this one right here, oh no, ma'am. That's when you know you got somebody that really cares. That's not afraid to say, okay, baby, I love you, but what we not going to do is this right here, respectfully.
Yes.
And I appreciated that. I used to call him Mr. Sandpaper because let me tell you something. He was whipping me up with the word, okay? I mean, left and right up. Another sermon with God. My God. You know what I mean? But it was all
Did you
out
say
of...
you called Mr. Webb?
Mr. Sandpaper. But it was all out of love. But it was all out of love, and it made me check myself to be like, I may be healed here, and here, but in this area right here, I got some more work to do.
Yeah.
And I've been doing the work.
Yeah.
By the way, that'll be a good song. Mr.
What, doing the... Oh, Mr. Not Mr. I thought you were going to say doing the work.
Because what happens is, that's what it is. When we talk about iron sharpening iron, it's the friction that begins to rub against you that begins to refine you. I love watching artwork be created, and as you see of something being shaped, whether it's wood. I love seeing woodwork, and they have different grades of sandpaper.
Yeah.
They'll start off with what's called coarse, and then they'll get the coarse sandpaper and begin to rub that wood down, which knocks off the bigger imperfections. And then you get the finer sandpaper that begins to beautify it and make it even smoother.
Yeah.
And so our marriages is supposed to be sandpaper.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be rubbing up against each other,
1000%.
and we're supposed to be fashioning each other into the likeness of Christ.
Yes.
Right.
And that's what marriage is supposed to be.
Yes.
But we get in this fantasy mentality where we like, oh, well, we don't ever argue. Everything is fine. We don't never have disagreements. We don't never have this or whatever. Be like, well, are y'all being fashioned and fine-tuned and rubbed against each other? Because you've been married before. You've dealt with past pain, hurts, habits, and hangups. He done been through past pain, habits, and hangups. And y'all come into each other's lives, and you oftentimes you're looking at that person through the lens of your past, and you going, are you for me or are you against me? And I'm trying to discern that right now. When you say this to me, are you saying this about me because you're saying I have a fault in my life? Or are you saying that you believe in me to overcome whatever this is? And that's the beautiful thing about a healthy relationship is that when you don't internalize stuff and take it personally and be like, oh, well, clearly I'm just the wrong person for you. Instead of just saying, okay, you're trying to help me. And I love what you sat there and said that most of the time, especially when people are artists and people are great in a field, they get a lot of yes people around them. And so sometimes to hear somebody say no, you look at it like, oh, you don't love me. Like, you don't love me. Like, I love you. And that's why I told you no. You know, I'm telling you that as beautiful as you are, as great as you are, as talented as you are, this is a deficiency. And what my homeboy Kariga Bailey said, he was on the podcast, Brilliant Mind. He says, deficiencies aren't deficits. He said deficiencies aren't deficits, because a lot of times when we look at certain people that you have a deficiency in the area, you may look like, oh, well, that's just really, really bad. But the reality is saying, no, we have areas to grow in this. And so how are you feeling about this, Emanuel? Why did you have hope in this type of personality?
Not coming.
I'm doing like that, Bree. This type of personality.
But let's find out. Look,
we're gonna find out now.
He said we both gonna find out.
He said, don't do me like that, but we're gonna find out.
But I love to know. That's what you said. But I love to know.
Let's lean in.
Yeah, let's lean in. Why did you bet on Bree?
That's dope.
That's
bet
good,
on Bree. Well, all right. Okay. I think for me, I love the personality. That's one.
You like that spiciness?
Yeah. For me, what it comes down to for me, and I don't know if I mentioned this earlier or not. I think I mentioned this when we were talking.
Yeah.
There's personality, and then there's character, and there's
my God.
moments when they intersect and moments when they don't.
This is the teacher. Go ahead and teach. Go ahead and teach, King.
Yeah, personality is germane to you at birth. It's just who you are. You don't have to try to be who you are. It's just who you are. So it's the personality that's going to come through as you evolve, as you grow. Character, however, has to be developed. And so I love her personality. Wherever the rubs are is wherever there are, I guess, I don't want to say disparities, but yeah, I could say disparities in character,
right?
You know, and that goes both ways. You know, the challenges go both ways. You know, when there are deficiencies in my character, she'll challenge me, as well as if there are deficiencies in hers. To your point, iron sharpening iron. So one man or woman sharpens another. And so for me, it's fun. It's the adventure. And I think I do think that that's part of the beauty of marriage, and that it should feel like an adventure.
But this was happening while you're dating, right?
Yeah, 1,000%.
And so while you were dating,
and let me say this. I'm sorry. So let me say this. What I also look for, and this is a character thing, is not does she have deficiencies in certain areas, but how does she respond if I challenge that deficiency?
That part.
And that, to me, is what mattered most.
And how did she respond?
And humility. And it's not to say that there wasn't a rub, but that's not the same as lacking humility either. It's where we landed. That where you land is what determines the degree to which you follow what I'm saying. You're humble, you know, and there's grace for the humble. And so for me, and it's to this day, from the dating the inception of our relationship to present day is still the same. If there are any challenges, we're going to bring them to each other, and we're going to talk until we get it right.
I'm gonna ask you this, Bree.
Yeah.
What made you receptive? Because the reality is you said,
that's what it
I
is.
don't want to be married again. So this could be, any rub could be confirmation of why it don't work. So why were you still open to leaning in to that journey and what he calls an adventure?
Because I knew he loved me unconditionally.
How that soon?
Ooh, how? By his actions. By him paying attention to the little details, by me having a bad day and he just calling at the right time or texting me at the right time. Hey, are you okay? I feel, every single time, and so that made me lean in. At that point, we were already connected.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just and I knew that it was all out of love. I knew that, he just wanted, the best for me. You know what I'm saying? And he challenged me, but the way he challenged me was, how some people, they'll challenge you, but you need to change right then and there. He challenges me in a way of, regardless, if you get it right today, if you get it right 5 years from now, I'm here with you until you get there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't have to do it right now. See, some people want it right now, want you to get better right now. And if you don't get better right now, I'm out. But he's willing to go with me through the process, even if that means, like, we started premarital before we were even engaged.
We
did. Started counseling.
Yes.
He had his therapist, I had my therapist, and we had a therapist that we were going to together.
I believe in that.
So, like, that's
Call that
showing
pre-engagement counseling, because you can't get a refund on the ring. So
right.
I say we're going to have to go and get, that's my insurance.
Yeah.
We got to go to pre-engagement counseling,
Yeah,
so we can really unravel some stuff.
And it was beautiful. Like, we learned so many things about each other in that. We got closer. Like, I know we saying, like, we had moments and touchy moments where it was like, kind of friction, but we never went into the next day. Even to this day, we don't do that. Upset with each other.
That's good.
We don't do that.
That's good. That's biblical.
Oh, yeah.
Never let the sun run down on your anger.
Yeah.
And your wrath. The reality is this: y'all had moments where fear could have crept in and caused y'all to self-sabotage this. Were there moments of fear? And then how did you address it? Because y'all both have experienced divorce.
Yeah.
Divorce is the greatest heartbreak, death that we experience while the person is living.
Yeah.
And so my thing is, were there moments of fear where you looked at it like, dang, I like who she was on social media when I looked at this, but there's some stuff here and I'm seeing this, or I see him in this and my dad likes him or whatever, but I'm just fearful. I don't want to, I don't want this. I want my heart broken.
Yeah.
Never.
You never felt that?
I never had any fear for him. It was always fear for myself.
Yep.
That I didn't want to make a mistake.
Yeah.
I didn't want to repeat a cycle. So because I was fearful in that, I even pressed harder in therapy.
Really? You pressed harder in therapy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were those conversations like to your therapist? Now you experienced
it was deep. Like, sometimes I cried in therapy and stuff like that because I just want,
Let me ask you this, a better question. Mm-hmm. What was triggered by his love for you? Because while you're in therapy and you begin to talk to your therapist, because he may do something that feels so right and so whatever, that you may go to therapy and be like, now listen, like, what was that conversation like?
For me, when I would talk to her, it was not, here it was, be honest. So my biggest challenge was that I had in the past was honor and respect. And so I even though, you know, we clown and we play, I sometimes you get beside yourself and you'll talk to your spouse as if they're your peer. And at the end of the day, that's not my friend. That's not my peer. That's my husband. You know what I'm saying? And so it was a couple of times where that had happened, and it, you know, and Emanuel never disrespects me, never gets out the way, you know. And if he does, I'm like, okay, now, baby, now, I'll come at, and he'll be like, you know what, mommy, you're right, I'm sorry. But it was times where I got out the way and I was beside myself. And I had to check that, and go to my therapist and be like, just straight up, okay, what do I need to do? What are some precautions or things that I can implement, because I don't want this man to ever feel like I don't honor him and I don't respect him.
God, that's good.
And we work right there.
I think what I love about what she's saying is the imperfection of it all. Like, because I almost feel like these are conversations that we don't have out loud. Because, I mean, I don't know how many women come on this show and say stuff like this, but I feel like it's a rarity,
Absolutely.
You rarely hear a woman with the courage that it takes to say that certain deficiencies are easy to talk about.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's like,
like I don't cook.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, I have trouble with the law. I don't do, whatever, Right. It's like, but the courage that it takes to talk about this type of deficiency, because you run the risk of judgment around it.
Yep.
But if she's incriminated for this, it's because they're missing the point.
But they actually won't, because my platform loves that.
Okay,
stuff.
good. Yeah,
because she'll get comments on there.
Yeah,
they go,
I'm
girl,
like,
that's like me.
This
and
is
let me
so
tell you,
dope.
that's how I messed up in my last marriage.
Yeah,
girl, let me tell you, some guys been dealing with this.
Yeah.
Girl, my New Year's resolution is to operate with honor. My husband just told me I don't do.
Yeah.
When I tell you, she is freeing some people right
and I
now
love it.
In the name of Jesus.
And I feel it, and I hear that's why I'm jumping in it with you, because I'm like, man, this is. I mean, I know this is stuff we talk about in private.
Yeah,
but to say it out loud is, to your point, is so freeing and so liberating. And I just think that, what it speaks to, the beauty of it is this is the journey. There's I don't know if you're familiar with this or not, but there is a theological framework called that or notion that it's called sinless perfection. It's called sinless perfection, where there are literally a group of people out there that believe that once you become a saint, that you are eligible and qualified to never sin again.
Oh, Lord.
That it's possible.
I ain't gonna never be a saint.
Now, listen, it runs in the face of everything.
Gonna never be a saint.
You see what I'm saying? Romans 7, everything. It runs in the face of all the Paul says the stuff I want to do, I can't do. It runs in the, it runs counter biblical. It's not reality. But the Bible says anybody who says that he doesn't sin is a liar, and the truth is not in him. You see what I mean? So, but there's this theological idea out there, and I never believed it, but I came up in a world where quietly that felt like the culture. Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Quietly that felt like the culture a little bit. But I think that this is the beauty of this is that it highlights the humanity of the Christian, while at the same time speaks to it also creates a vision for, okay, but what do I do with this now? I can't stay here, and so I take measurable steps to, you see what I'm saying? So press towards the mark of the prize of the high call of Christ and being conformed in the image of all those things. So I salute you for even being, that transparent is big.
Let me ask you this. I'm calling you the truth right here because I want to go a little deeper.
Let's go.
The fact that she said she talked to a therapist, her goal was to honor and respect you. What did that heal in you?
What it does for me is all it does is make me want to reciprocate it.
Let me ask you, let me phrase it a different way.
Yeah.
You said at the very beginning that in the past, in your relationships, in your marriage, you were dishonorable.
Yeah.
And on the onset of this relationship, she says her heart posture is to honor you.
Yeah.
That she wants to look at you as she don't want to ever do anything to you that makes you look at her as a woman that doesn't honor and respect you.
Yeah.
The greatest thing that men desire is respect. It's
1,000%.
not love, it's respect.
Yeah.
The Bible says husband loves your wife, but it says wives respect your husband. And so my thing to you is that how important is honor and respect to you?
I think it's, highly important as it is for every man. And I think what it does is the more that, this is the way it works. And if the more a man, in the same way that the more a woman is loved, you're going to get the best version of her.
Right.
It's the same. The more that I feel honored and respected, the more she gets the best version of me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it emboldens me. It empowers me. It's every man's love language, so it ignites a fire in me. Just honor and respect alone will make a man move mountains.
Yeah.
For a woman, you see what I'm saying?
That's real talk.
That's what it makes me want to do. Go find a mountain to move.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Yeah. So how did we get from reaching out to her, having that 3-hour conversation on the phone, to putting a ring on her finger? How did that take place?
It was easy, honestly, because I think once we because the first week was so intense in terms, and it always starts that way. We get it. Yeah. The honeymoon phase, all of that. We get it. But I think, let's put it this way. I'm going to take it back. It happened in phases.
Okay.
But at the same time, it was an easy decision from the beginning. So
at the very beginning, what you think she was?
At the very beginning, after conversation number 3, she was talking about moving somewhere, and I was like, moving to a different state. I said,
You said,
He surely did. He said, where you think
you going?
I said, huh?
Where you going?
He said because if this relationship goes the way I think it's gonna go, I'm gonna want you closer to me.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
That was conversation. That was the 9-hour conversation number 3.
That was
9-hour
He was doing his good rapping, you know what I mean?
He doing his good rapping. He said, Where you planning on moving, Bree?
I was trying to move to Houston.
Yeah. You gonna come move to Texas.
Yeah.
And you said,
I said, yeah.
And where were you living at the time?
Atlanta.
He said,
Yeah, no.
Because we're in Louisiana, we moved to Texas.
Yeah.
That's our big city right there.
Yeah,
He said, you ain't going. I said,
huh? Yeah, so...
So what did you think about that? Was you like, so that was a turn on for you?
It was like but yeah, I was like, my God. You know what I'm saying? Like tell me.
Tell me what we doing.
Tell me. Okay, I ain't going nowhere then, I guess. But that was good. I ain't gonna lie.
So at that point, you already identified her in your mind as your wife?
The trajectory, based on the trajectory.
3 months in.
3 days in. I was like, the 3 days in. The trajectory. But you got to remember how in depth the conversations were.
Yeah.
Now, granted, you can be getting tricked in the beginning. that's a real life category too. I could have been tricking you too.
I know, that would have been bad.
That'd have been horrible.
Yes.
We can trick each other. So you leave space for that reality.
Yeah, space
But
for
the
the
mess
reality.
up, yeah.
Yeah, you leave space for somebody else to show up week 3. But that's why I said, if this goes as in the same direction that it's going now, but I think that in terms of like the phases of the relationship, once we started having conflict, and I told her that was the most exciting part of it for me.
Conflict.
Yes.
And explain that again. Why?
Well, because for me, it conflict surfaces what's really going on in a person, you know?
Yes.
So that was one thing. How we resolve conflict is going to tell me what the rest of my life will look like if we were to move forward. You see what I'm saying? What we're having conflict about is very important.
Yeah.
Because that's a matter of priority. And it speaks kind of deeply to the things that matter most to us. You see what I mean? And so for me, the conflict was important for all those reasons, plus many more. And once I saw how we were getting through the conflict, that deepened, my affections and deepened my wasn't a resolve quite yet, but it deepened my desire, or what I thought could be the possibility of in the relationship going all the way. And so, in terms of going from boyfriend and girlfriend, which we never even had boyfriend girlfriend title, but
yeah.
going from the talking phase.
We never did.
No, we never was.
He never asked me.
No.
He just said,
To be his girlfriend.
We just
when you grown, you don't be asking nobody to be your girlfriend.
Yes, we too
I guess
old.
you just know what it is. It is what it is.
I can't be your boy. You can't introduce me as your boyfriend.
Why not?
I just
yeah. My nephew
I feel like I'm in high school. Yeah,
my nephew 16. He got those. Yeah, he can get some
I
water.
just say that's my friend Emanuel.
that's my friend Emanuel.
Let me tell you something.
I think another thing that was dope though was during the process, I met her family. And, you okay, mommy? You need some water or something?
She finna get some water.
Okay, cool.
Jesus.
Thank you, Riri. But I think.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
You can keep on talking.
Yeah. So, once I met her family, I was like, whoa. Like, I read a post the other day. It said, become a part of a family that does not make you feel like an in-law. And once I met her, instantly, I was family. And I felt like it. And I was like, whoa. It actually felt very different to me. And I'm connecting with everybody. Just last night, I was like, let's go see what LJ Shannon doing. That's mom and dad.
With my mom and my daddy.
We're going to see what they doing.
Let's see what they doing.
Yeah. I'm like,
And everybody do that now. Like with him, they all want to hang.
oh yeah, they all want to come through. Yeah.
I love it.
So
at what phase did you meet them?
early.
Like, was that
month 2 or 3? I called them July. Okay. Yeah.
So you called them what? You called them?
No, because I called them early.
So that was month 3. Month 3.
Yeah.
So when you called them that day, that phone call you had, what phase was that?
That was early. That was about a month in. And what I wanted to express was, listen, here's the thing. When you've had the experiences that we've had, you just kind of know. I mean, I'm not saying it because, I've had these conversations. Best practice is, date somebody 5 years or whatever the case may be. Yeah.
As old as I am.
Yeah.
I'm 52 years old. Okay. I'm going to get married.
Yeah.
I'm 46.
Yeah. And I just kind of felt like, it's a cliche, but there's something intuitive in you that does know when you know. Yeah. When you feel comfortable and confident and at peace with the person. And that's even irrespective of any differences that you might have.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? That's not to ignore what the differences are.
Yeah.
But it is to say that whatever you feel is binding you together is greater than whatever conflicts are on the other side of it.
That's good.
That's
good.
And so for me, once I started connecting with the family, I was like, whoa.
I want you to go back. You called her mama and dad.
You want to go back to that?
Yeah.
I called them. Well, that was interesting. So dad, they both played kind of cool. I talked to dad.
What did you say to her? I want your daddy phone number?
Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah.
And what you think when he said that? You thought he about to propose or something right around the
No,
corner?
I knew it wasn't that. Nuh-uh. No, I knew it wasn't that. But I gave it to him.
So what did you think he needed that number for?
To talk. I don't know. I was going to find. Let me tell you something. Whatever it was, they was going to be calling me and letting me know what the conversation was, So I was just going to send it and then sit back and then, wait for the phone call. And lo and behold, I got a phone call, but it was good.
So what was your point of why'd you want to talk to them so early?
You know what? I felt like, they had been hearing a lot about me. Quickly, she was woven into the fabric of my life and vice versa. And everybody's hearing about me. I kind of wanted to express my intentions to them. I know it's kind of old school.
No, it should be.
I think I
respect old school.
Yeah.
I think it's a lost art.
Yeah, I agree. I think our generation, our culture suffers from chronological snobbery, where we think that if it's old.
Go back. You said chronological snobbery.
Snobbery sure did.
You know what I mean? Where if it's old or if it's a tradition of some sort, then it's antiquated and irrelevant.
There it is.
And I think that's a faulty logical step to take. That it's old, which means that it's no longer relevant.
Yeah.
I'm like,
when that should be foundational principles that you are building
so much
upon.
weight.
Not the old landmarks. There's so much that, and this whole concept of if it's progressive and if it's new, then it's right, and if it's old, then it's wrong.
It's so
and
crazy.
It's like, my God, where did we get this from, right? Anyway, my point is, I know that that's kind of an older tradition, but for some reason, I felt like it was necessary to do, and I believe that it was the right thing to do.
So you called the daddy and said what?
I called the daddy, and I said, hey, how are you? Pleasure to meet you. And, he was really cool. He was super cool. I think he was at work. And I said, hey, I just wanted to let you know that, I really am serious about your daughter. And I just wanted you to be aware of that. And he was like, okay, well, we'll see what happens. So he was real cool about it.
And then what did he say to you?
I mean, that's a good man.
That's a good answer, man.
Good answer, man. Sure did, you know what I mean?
And then you also want to talk to the mom.
Well, that was a little different, but
yeah, they two peas in a pie now.
We super good. Yeah, we're beautiful now.
And so what you do when you talk to her? What she say?
Well, let's just say she has a background in law enforcement. So she might have been a bit more suspicious by nature, which I respected the mama bear,
Yeah.
And so I think she was just a little bit more, she asked a few more questions. I have intentions to be serious, but was not sufficient. So I think
it was almost like you was getting interrogated.
No, I did get interrogated.
Okay,
She put the light up and swung. I felt like I was in a room with the light swinging.
Did she read you the Miranda rights?
Almost. We almost got there. No, but she's super cool. I get it. It's natural for a mother and even a father, to protect their children. No matter how old they are.
and then, so what did the mama say? What your mom say to you after she talked to him?
She really didn't say too much. He told me about the conversation that they had, and then I went to my dad and said, "Daddy, nah." Mama got a little beside herself a little bit. And then he went to my mama and stuff, and they had a conversation. And then eventually,
so basically she said the nice version of it. So she got a little bit beside herself.
She got a little bit beside herself, you know what I mean? And and I went to I don't even remember what she said, but I do remember calling my daddy and let him know. And he was like, "Now why she did that? Now why she did that?" And he they talked or whatever like that. But fast forward, Like she even apologized.
Shout out to Shannon,
to him, you know, and you know, just was like, you know, I'm sorry, you know. My daughter had been through a lot, you know, and I'm, you know, just didn't want to see her hurt and just wanted to, you know, protect her and make sure that, you know, your intentions were what they were, you know, and she realized that he was who he said he was and had to come back and be like, you know, I'm sorry. And they planned had a whole birthday celebration for me. Them two was bonding. You can't leave them two together.
Hey, best friends.
Oh, it's beautiful now. It's beautiful.
And keeping secrets and stuff. I said,
She's the only one I can trust.
She the only one that's not gonna spill the beans.
You the only one I can trust.
She not gonna spill the beans.
She took hopes of this stuff. She got a professional career in doing this. So she's like, hey, listen, this is what's gonna happen.
Okay.
Said you have the right to remain silent.
Right.
Anything you
she
say
looks in the mirror and says that to herself.
Just say it to herself. And so the reality is this. So you had a conversation with mom and dad 30 days in. 3 months later, you tell her, don't be making no moves that can affect our the trajectory of our relationship. She said, okay now.
Yeah.
So she stayed there. And then what month did you decide to propose and how did that go?
I think it was month 6 or 7. Month 7.
So you proposed month 7 and month 8 got married?
Boom.
30 days later.
Boom. Because what are we waiting for? I mean, you know what I'm saying?
And I was in shock.
Because what are we waiting for, you know?
You was in shock with which part? The proposal or the wedding being 30 days later?
No, we agreed on that.
Yeah.
Because we had a whole plan of what we were going to do. But we were like, you know what? Like, the way... Like, we just are with each other and just like how he was with my son. And then my daddy, once we got engaged, my daddy was like, you know, I can marry y'all next week.
In the office.
Are you a pastor?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
he was like, you know, I can do it.
So he was trying to marry us every day after we got engaged. He was like, come on,
every day.
I can do it today. You know what I mean?
Now.
Like,
he really literally said that.
Seriously.
No, come right now. We can do it right now.
So, you know, and then we saw the excitement with family and friends. And we were like, you know what? Let's just do it.
Yeah.
We had something planned where we were going to go to Italy and just it be me and him. But I'm so happy we did it.
1,000%.
Why?
It was just being, them seeing how happy we were, them actually seeing like the ceremony for me, I didn't look at anybody else but him. You know, the whole time, you know, when we were up there, we were literally looking at each other, cracking, making jokes, laughing the whole time. That was one thing one of my friends told me. She was like, it was just so cute to see y'all up there just laughing. And it's like we wasn't even there.
That's good.
You know, so they got to see us firsthand, just how we are with each other. It was just so beautiful. The whole from start to finish, it was just beautiful. I don't understand how we did it in a month and how it all came together, you know, but we did it. And it was everything that it needed to be. We had such a good time. Everybody keeps talking about it. I mean, it was just...
Had never experienced the second line before.
Oh yeah,
second line.
It was incredible, man.
Sure.
It really was
beautiful.
And so, take me back to proposal. How did you propose?
It was very difficult. Only because she had just come off of the road. She had been on tour for months, and she was tired.
And it was my son's birthday.
The day after Eli's birthday, and then it was the 2 days after she had just gotten off the road. So she was prepping for the birthday party the day after she got off the road. And then I was trying to propose to her the following day. Well, the following day after the birthday, she was just exhausted. Mm-hmm. And so I couldn't get her to leave the house. I needed her to leave the house to get to a location. So I had several people involved.
They failed miserably.
Everybody failed miserably.
They was going back to him like,
she don't know. Well, I tried. Didn't work. I was like, we gotta get her out the house, y'all. We gotta get her. I had mom involved, dad involved, social media managers involved. I would have the social media manager say, we gotta get this content done today, and we need to be at this the location I was trying to do it. And so,
what were you saying?
So he was like, yeah, I've been talking. And we gotta get this. We gotta stay consistent. We gotta put stuff out if you want. I said, you know what? You are absolutely right. Say you're absolutely right. We do have to be consistent. We do got to get the content out. Just not today.
Not today.
I cannot do it.
And then he was screenshotting the text messages and sending them me. I was like, at one point he was like, bro, I did my best.
I would just be sitting on the sofa. I was sitting on the sofa and I was just like in a daze. I was so exhausted.
And I know the feeling from being on the road. So I understood it.
Why did it have to be that day?
Just the day I planned, and I like to do things that I plan. I like to
that she's gonna be right off.
Well, I didn't know it was gonna be that hard. Because I thought we was gonna take a walk and do because it's like a little thing. We did a walk around the pond, and so I just we had agreed to do that. Like, okay, when you come off the road, we're gonna take a walk. I was like, okay, bet. So that's the spot.
Yeah,
that's the spot. I got it. So I had all hands on deck for the pond,
and I canceled.
And she canceled the pond. So,
but we ended up going.
We ended up somehow, some way. We ended up getting her to the pond. And once it's a bridge on the pond, beautiful sunset, whole thing, lake, the whole nine. And once we got there, though, she was still exhausted. So she was like, can I just sit down and you and Eli walk
the bridge?
Walk the bridge.
I'm going to just sit right here and wait for y'all to come back. I'm going to just sit here. I was exhausted.
I said, Lord Jesus, this is the most difficult proposal ever. Because she needed to get
to Eli.
Listen, she needed to get on the bridge. Listen, she needed to get on the bridge in order for the cameras and stuff to come. Yeah. And you see what I mean? So it's like
Eli gonna stand in proxy.
Then there's Eli. Then there's Eli, and he's young, so he want to be up and out and about. So we got to keep him, and then we got to get the cameras on the bridge, and we got to get it set up. So finally got on the bridge, and when we got on the bridge, we were just talking actually about marriage, and I think the conversation was around going ahead and doing it, because we were still in that conversation stage of it. And while we were kind of on the bridge, I said to her, I said, well, I want us to get married, except. And I'm not going to remember verbatim. I know she will, though. I said, except I can't do it without your permission. And she's like, what do you mean you have my permission? And I was like, well, I mean, I need your permission. She's like, what are you talking about? You have my permission. And then I said, no. I said, oh, this is what I said. I said, in the beginning, you told me that you would... that you didn't want to get married except if the man swept you off of your feet. And I said, I need permission to sweep you off your feet for the rest of your life. The Terrence said, my. Well. And so at that moment, I'm getting on my knee. I'm giving her the ring. She runs in the opposite direction. But let me tell you something, bro. I'm sitting there like, is this a yes? Or
he on that knee.
I'm on that knee. Again, here I am again. It's felt like the DM moment.
13 minutes.
Yeah, that 13 minutes.
Felt like a whole
like
day.
30 days. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, because she runs all the way to the end of the bridge and we're looking the opposite direction.
I was like, what is happening?
She's like, what's going on? And I'm like, oh Lord, I've seen this in a movie before. It didn't go well. I saw this before. It didn't go well. And so she came back. And she's like crying. She put her hand out. I said, so is this a yes? I said, because she hugged me. I said, is this a yes? She said, yes. She's jumping. I put the ring on her finger, and from that point, it was just FaceTime calls and
Calling everybody.
Yeah.
So what made you run?
It was.
That's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I guess just first of all, I couldn't believe it was happening. I was in disbelief. Even looking at the ring, because I saw him when he got on his knee and he was fumbling in his pocket. In my mind, I was like, this can't be happening. Like,
You had no...
I had no idea because, where you had that ring and I didn't see that ring. You know what I mean? So I was like, what in the world? Like, I had no idea because the plan, like he said, the plan was we were going to go do content, go to the pumpkin patch, and we were going to walk. After we did the pumpkin patch, we were going to go around the pond and we were going to talk about marriage. That was the whole thing. So we had already had planned that. So I had no idea
that wasn't a real plan.
That wasn't a real plan. I was set up. So in that moment, it was just all the emotions just kind of like hit me, and it was really excitement, but I guess I just didn't know how to portray that in the correct
I was like, now is this excitement or?
So I ran. I was like,
she's a runner. She's a track star.
And all I could do was cry and just put my hand on him and stuff and just hold him.
I love that moment.
And he put the ring on my finger, and then I began to jump like a bunny.
Yeah, she did.
As big as I am. I was hopping on that bridge. Because I was so happy and
We still hopping like a bunny.
after that night, it really kind of like, not that night, but like a few days, it really kind of like said, and even now we still do stuff where it's like you really my husband.
You
really my husband. Like, you really came.
It's still
in,
kind of a
you
little
really
bit like
came up in this joint.
And just upset my whole life to bless me.
You did that. My God.
Because you was really serious about not getting married.
I was not. Like, I had then set up in my mind. I remember one of my aunts, a great aunt of mine, and she asked me. She was like, "You think you're gonna get married again?" I said, "Oh no, I ain't getting married again." She said, "Well, maybe you're not, because I got some women in my family who's never been married." I said, "I'm gonna be just like them, Well, I was married, but be divorced, be a mom to my son, have my dog, maybe get another dog, and I'm good with that." I was content with that because I had, embraced and just being independent. I felt like I was always independent, but it was just like, okay, I ain't gotta really answer to nobody. I just enjoyed that. I had created my own little haven. So he came in and he changed my thinking. He really did. Like, he made me rethink a whole lot of things because I didn't think certain things was possible. I didn't think that certain things that I would see, because sometimes you'll see other people's relationships via social media, just different things, movies, whatever it may be. And I got to a point where I just thought that those things are not possible for me. I keep failing at relationships, and they're just not working out. It just won't be me. I won't be happy. I won't find that.
Yep.
And then God, just decided to send this person into my life, and he loved me unconditionally. But not only that, did he love me unconditionally, he loved my child. How somebody can come into your life and take your child as if it's theirs and love them just as much as they love you. And that was so beautiful and touching to me. And I'm just so thankful and grateful to God that he, allowed me to have a second chance at marriage, at love, and to know what it really feels like. Because just because you're married, that don't mean that that's what it is. But I actually know what it is. And I love it.
Let me ask you this. Why do you think God has purposed you and Emanuel to be married?
I think it's simple. for me, I think that he's purposed us to be together, to be married, because being with Emanuel, I have grown tremendously. And you've grown when other people can say, ever since you stepped into my daughter's life, I've seen her change. She's not the same person. She's happier. She's grown. She responds to me softer and differently. And so that's how I know that we were meant to be. Like, this was supposed to be, because other people are seeing changes. Because you can be in, when you in it, you just, okay, well, I see it. But when other people on the outside looking in that knew you in your mess and knew how you were before, and can see the growth that has happened and that has taken place, that's how you know it's real and it's supposed to be.
God said it's not good for man to live alone, and I will give you a suitable helper. Emanuel, in your single life, you felt like it wasn't good for you to live alone, and God agreed. How does BRI help you?
Oh, Jesus. I really do feel like, I think, I'm gonna answer this a couple ways. When I was in that single space, I was low because it's not good that we be alone. And to your point, suitable helper, not just any woman would do. So even if I had, talked to another woman, didn't mean, not that it didn't mean anything. It was just, just getting to know people, and it's like, oh, okay. But with BRI, I went from being low, being lonely, to being happy and full. I think for me, I really feel full with BRI. I feel like my life feels full. I feel like in terms of what our purpose is together, I think that there's a sense of fullness there. My heart is full. And BRI feels like redemption to me. She feels like redemption to me. And anybody who knows me knows that, or knows us, knows we're not advocates for divorce. It has a lot of challenges, a unique set of challenges that it comes with. Covenantal, practical implications, family, and it's all a work in progress. And it's not easy, and it's not simple, and it's complicated, and it's complex. And so we're not here to advocate divorce in any way. But we are here to say that if, in fact, you do get divorced, there can be life on the other side and redemption on the other side. Whether you brought it upon yourself, it was self-inflicted, whether it was your fault or it was something outside of you, within or without, there can be redemption on the other side of it. And my prayer and my season of aloneness was, God, if you would be gracious enough, if you would be gracious to me, grant me one more opportunity to do this thing the way you intended for it to be done. And I think the thing that brings joy to my heart is that he did it with this woman. And that's the greatest help for me.
How do y'all feel? How do y'all feel?
I feel good.
I know when taking the challenge of going from something that y'all held so privately and to sit on a platform like this with hundreds of thousands of people that will pick apart y'all story, to check its authenticity, to try to find receipts and find out when this love really began and if y'all really were honest about when y'all met each other, and they're looking at the time stamps in y'all's life as if they were there the whole time. I thank you. I thank you for sitting on this yellow couch. As I've stated at the beginning of this year, I said, I want to increase marriage rates and decrease divorce statistics in the African American community. But I also want to make sure that we are providing tools and resources to help people get healed prior to marriage and give couples the framework on how to work through their idiosyncrasies and issues that they may have internally and externally with the other person and navigate those tough spots. So I thank y'all for providing that, helping viewers get through that dating phase to say, you know what? If y'all have some little friction, if God grants you somebody that you can nickname Mr. Sandpaper in your life, it may not be so bad. It may not be so bad. I love that you call him Mr. Sandpaper. I love that. I'm gonna call you that from now on, man.
Awful.
Yeah,
that's terrible.
I want y'all to comment in the
people hashtagging that.
Comment Sandpaper down there. Comment Sandpaper, because that's the reality, and that is beautiful. And I love that you guys were able to sit here, be authentic, transparent, vulnerable in this space. Why did tears dance down your cheeks?
Oh, poetic.
You hear that? You hear that? Dear Future Wifey, I say stuff like that.
Poetic. Come on, Terrence.
Why did tears crip walk down your cheeks? She's a thug, so I gotta say crip walk.
Okay. Because every time I talk about Emanuel and the love that he's shown me, it's happy tears.
Yeah.
You know, it's not sad tears and, no, it's happy. It's like, I found the one, and because of that, my son can grow up in a an environment that's, he can see,
his mother
love, you know what I'm saying? And let me say this, like, I don't want people to even think that, we people,
they would.
Because, my son has a father that's in his life, that he's in his life, he's active, he loves his son. Eli loves his father. And when me and Emanuel was serious, Emanuel took it upon himself to be like, you know what? I want to meet him.
Good. I
want to meet his dad. I want to let him know, that I'm, hey, I'm never gonna, stand in the way. You are his father.
Yep.
But I got him. I'm gonna protect him. I'm gonna be here. He's good over here.
Good.
And I went to Eli's father, told him how Emanuel wanted to meet him. They met, shook hands, And he even commended him and said, you know what?
That's a real man.
I respect you as a man.
That's a real man.
For you to even want to come to me
A real
and
man.
talk to me and introduce yourself to me lets me know a lot about you.
Yes.
When we got married, he congratulated us.
Good.
You know what I mean? He didn't have to do that. But
Good.
that lets you know the type of person he even is.
Right.
You know? So I don't want people up here thinking that, oh yeah, she just no. Have a healthy blended family, okay, amen? Because we all in this together at the end of the day.
Yes.
Me and him are great co-parents, and we have to do what we have to do for the sake of the child at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So I'm just happy that, God bless me, but that he's blessing my son all the way around.
Good. Good. Listen, I thank you for saying that. I thank you for protecting that because, again, the mission is to create healthy families. Yeah. And if the family just so happen to be a blended family, that should be healthy.
Yes.
It shouldn't be like you got to diminish one partner in order to
Absolutely
elevate your
not.
current partner.
Absolutely
Healthiness
not.
is saying, hey, I love, honor, and respect my ex.
Yes.
Or as Emanuel says, should it be called ex or former?
Former spouse.
My former spouse.
Yeah.
My former spouse.
Yeah.
And hey, honor, respect them, and this is what we have new,
Right.
and be able to have healthy all the way around. You know what? The truth. Now I'm calling you the truth, and I'm setting you up for something.
Uh-oh.
There is no way on God's green earth I can conclude this without you spitting something. Like you got to spit something.
All right
I don't
now.
know what's on your heart, but can you bless the people of God?
Let me see if I can remember
with
this.
something.
Remember something was easy words. Easy words.
Let me see.
What you got there?
Let's see. My daddy seen him, my mama seen him, grandmama seen him, my auntie seen him, my daughter seen him. Tears of the generation, they drop on the mausoleum. Steps in this warfare like the sands of the Colosseum. Can't trust my emotions, feelings come and then feelings go. Searching for a sign because we bow when they sell us hope. Looking beyond the stars through the lens of a telescope. We really want a genie, not a God that'll tell us no. Think about it. If we could control God, we would string him up. Puppet master manipulating what he could touch. Just need somebody that we could trust. I promise prayer really works, just not the way that you think it does.
What song was that from?
Never fails.
Never fails.
Yeah.
Never fails. See, y'all don't know. See, Troop was one of the originals. Y'all don't be wanting to put respect on my boy.
Okay.
Let me tell you something.
Put some respect on my husband's name.
Yeah, he was one of the founding members of gospel rap.
Right.
See, people don't be knowing that. So I be having to go ahead and level set people to understand what it is.
Bring
That's what I
them in.
said. See, I come from way back then. You know what I'm saying? And so the truth was just think about how you had to become a trailblazer back then when anything close to rap was demonic.
Yeah.
So
Right.
the fact that you're doing Christian rap, churches would be like, what is this?
1000%.
This is not of God.
1000%.
Real quickly, how did you navigate that?
Well, I ran with a group by the name of the Cross Movement.
Yes.
They are pillars. Flame and I, another Christian hip hop artist, we consider them like urban revivalists in the 21st century. I think they spent about 15 to 20 years just on top of everything. They had a Drake run. And just the impact that they left was incredible. Well, I'm the fruit of their labor in a lot of ways. And for us, when we came into this, there was no industry for it. There were no red carpets, no award shows, no money.
Yep.
It was so it was missional. It was edutainment. It was mission. In fact, the mission statement read that our mission was to impact all who are a part of and or impacted by hip hop culture.
Yeah.
Because what we understood was that in the mainstream, what we understood is that missions was not something that you had to go into a remote part of the world for. That there was a mission field right under our noses, and it was hip hop culture. They were untapped because the church kind of did like this to them. And so we took it upon ourselves to use our gifting, our craft, which was hip hop, to provide not just an alternative, but as Tonic used to say, an antidote. And so navigating the whole business industry side of it wasn't even a priority. because all we wanted to do was be missionaries. So you could find us anywhere, street corners, storefront churches, lunchroom tables at ciphers. The goal wasn't to pop per se. But once people started catching wind of what we were doing, it was much like mainstream hip hop. Mainstream hip hop was out the trunk. Mainstream hip hop was in the park at its inception. And then labels started getting a whiff of, oh, shoot, wait a minute. This thing looks like it's bubbling. They're selling records out the trunk, doing 100 million out the trunk.
Yeah.
That's what what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We want in. And so that's the same, something similar happened with Christian hip hop, where the industry said, we want in. But because we were so steeped in it from a ministry standpoint, where we landed was, you know what? We could use the industry to serve the ministry.
Yeah.
And so it was never for us. The main thing for us was we were trying to fight in it, or the tension, which is what you want to get at, was trying to get leaders, pastors, professors. We were trying to get them to understand why this tool was so important. And in order to do that, you had to not demonize it. And in order to do that, you had to understand its value. And I think just over time, after kind of chiseling away because we would literally hold conferences, and we would, go into seminaries and just talk to the professors, and we would host meetings with 20, 30 pastors in the city just to have this conversation, because they saw the culture was broken.
Yeah.
They saw how mainstream hip hop was impacting the culture and informing how they saw the world.
Yep.
But they didn't quite understand how we fit into the fabric of ministry life. You understand what I'm saying? Yep. And they understood singing, and they understood gospel music, and they understood, but what is this hip hop thing? It's creating a tension in us. And so we spent a lot of years chiseling away at that. And I think what we've experienced over the past 20 years or so is the fruit of that. Just seeing the likes of myself and Lecrae, and now No Big Deal, and Indie Tribe, and a number of others that are just causing waves and creating havoc, turning the world upside down for the kingdom through this medium of Christian rap.
Let me tell you something. I go way back, when I was younger, it was a group called DC Talk.
1,000%.
And PID.
1,000%.
See, y'all don't be knowing.
That's
y'all
the
know
pillars.
That's the pillars.
Those the pillars. Yeah.
I go back then. DC Talk.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, I know you're a little,
don't worry. It's okay. Don't worry.
Okay.
We got you.
We're a little older.
We'll talk after that.
Child.
Yeah, you're a child. And I'm gonna mess with you, Mr. A&R rep. You went from being the A&R rep for trying to find writers and all that stuff, to showing her what affection and romance truly looks like. And so that's your A&R in her life. And so that's what you did. Yeah.
Affection and romance. This man, I see why you are who you are.
Let me tell you something.
Whoever get,
let me tell you something. I'm just going to hit it. Let me tell you something.
All them letters. All them letters.
And what he got in store and planned, baby, planned for you. Just prepare yourself. It's going to be a good time.
It's going to be a good time.
A great time.
A real good time. Amen.
Ooh.
Amen. Goodness and mercy shall follow you all the days of your life. How can we support y'all? What y'all got going on? How can we support y'all? Follow y'all on y'all social media. Drop y'all social media handle.
Yeah, y'all can follow me where my name is BRI, BRI, last name Babineaux, BABINEAUX, on all social media platforms. I have some new music that is out right now. I got a new single called Confidence, so go and stream it. And I have new music that's going to be coming out the top of this year, so you want to make sure that you stay locked in on that.
Emanuel Lambert, aka The Truth. You can follow me at The Truth on Duty. Not The Truth, it's Ebonics. The Truth, DA. Truth on Duty. That's on all social media platforms. I do have some new music that is completed, and I'm just trying to find a right home for it right now.
That's good.
Yeah. So that should be out this year. And then
Uh-oh, what's going on?
We have some music that we're working on.
You know, we're going to be giving y'all, well, can we say that?
What?
Beyonce and Jay-Z of gospel?
You can.
Are we able to do that?
Yeah.
That's what they say.
That's what they say.
That's what they're saying.
That's what they're saying. But we got some great things in store for y'all. So
some great things.
You got to be locked and loaded.
Tuned.
Okay?
That's good. Before we let y'all go, I want to bless y'all because I know that the great exploits, let me just ask you this. Has it been prophetic words given over y'all?
Yeah.
What are some of the prophetic words that have been told to y'all? As a couple.
Yeah, it's been dope. We had one prophetic word spoken over us. It was about 17 minutes long, actually. She recorded it. And you know how it goes. You hear prophetic words all the time. Yeah. They can be generic. But I won't disclose everything that was said. But it was very specific to us. Very specific to us. Very specific to our future. And it's one of those words that we will keep going back to as we see it unfold, as we see it unfold. So I think it starts with a lot of what we're planning. This is the planning season, the seed sowing season. And I think over time, once the seeds that have been sown will bear fruit, and we'll see we'll see a lot of the things that were prophesied to us come to pass. And so we're excited about it.
Heavenly Father, we come to you today thanking you for this dynamic couple. God, you know the plans that you have for them, plans to prosper them and give them a great future. God, I ask right now in the name of Jesus for you to anoint them from the crown of their head to the soles of their feet, anoint their seed. Lord, we ask right now in the name of Jesus for every demon in hell that tries to come against this couple, that tries to come against this covenant. We rebuke it right now in the name of Jesus. Lord, you declared in your word that no weapon formed against them shall prosper, and every tongue that rises up against them shall be condemned, for this is their inheritance because they are servants of you. God, we claim that. We claim that right now in the name of Jesus. We rebuke every foul spirit that tries to leave a negative comment. God, we want people to be able to start checking themselves, knowing that as we go into this new year, God, that we have to be laborers that speak life and not death over covenants and relationships. We thank you for all that you're going to do in their lives, God. I see great missional things that they're going to accomplish. I see souls being brought to the kingdom by the thousands, God. God, you have you have designed them for such a time as this, God, to do great exploits in your name. I get excited about it, God. I love the giftings that they have, God, but even more so, I love their heart posture towards one another. I watch them as they are cleaving and becoming one. You said the two shall become one. And God, we know that that is a process to continue becoming one. And God, through every disagreement, through every smile, through every joke, through every laughter, God, they're going to continue becoming one. And God, I thank you for all that you're going to do. God, I want them to have the type of marriage that makes their offspring desire marriage. And God, we thank you right now in the name of Jesus for fashioning them for such a time as this. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Hey, y'all give it up for my homies, Emanuel, Lambert, BRI BABINEAUX-LAMBERT. Give it up for them, y'all. Thank y'all so much.
Let's go.
Stay tuned to the end for a letter to my future wifey.
And writing these love letters to you.
Ladarian, thrusted suddenly into Child Protective Services in 2015. My nephew, Black, a boy. The likelihood of being adopted outside of kinship, slim to none. Armani, 16 years old, Black, a boy, with 5 years in the foster care system before I even knew his name. The likelihood of ever being adopted, yep, you guessed it, slim to none. While Ladarian and Armani were trying to survive and barely thrive in an overpopulated and underfunded foster care system, I was living my own life, doing well professionally. Having been a single father with a daughter who at that point was doing well in college, it was my time to live my life, right? Wrong. I felt unsettled, tireless, agitated. There are just too many of our Black children stuck in ambiguity and in the limbo of the foster care system. In 2017, I legally adopted my nephew, Ladarian. Fast forward to 2019, I had no ties to this other young king, but I felt God instructed me to adopt him also, and I obeyed. Starting over with parenting should have been enough, right? Working with various foster care and adoption agencies to help bring awareness to the countless young Black kings in the foster care system should have decreased my agitation, right? Joining the board of directors of Advantage Adoption, an organization that helps find permanent adoptive homes for children in foster care, should have led to some type of resolve, right? No, not at all. None of it felt like I had done enough. I now realize that every one of those experiences was laying the fundamental foundation for my life's mission, Kingdom Royale. Kingdom Royale will be a luxury, state-of-the-art home for foster boys. Our first location will be in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. We will utilize the whole person approach that instills identity, empowers them to advocate for themselves, and enlightens them regarding new perspectives and limitless options that they thought were impossible. Though the young kings will attend the local public schools that are in proximity to Kingdom Royale, our at-home curriculum will broaden their worldview through participating in the arts, attending various cultural events, learning about and engaging in multifaceted discussions about current events and even relevant historical context, introducing them to gardening and landscaping and even caring for our animals on our farm and on-site stables. We just launched our Startup Capital campaign with the goal of raising $2.8 million. Now, why $2.8 million? Well, in 2017, I created a web series in which I performed random acts of kindness for targeting the homeless community. One of the most notable successes was that one of the videos went viral, garnering 28 million views. However, one of my biggest regrets is that I didn't raise a single dollar to help in implementing a more sustainable plan for the homeless community. So throughout the years, with much remorse, I reflected on not maximizing that moment. I knew if at that time, just 10% of the viewers donated $1, we would have raised at least $2.8 million that could have really established long-term support for the homeless community, or at least started a long-term initiative to do so. This is my do-over. This is our new beginning. Together, we can attack this at the root by specifically helping our homeless Black boys who are already disproportionately represented in the American foster care system. I'm Lateris R. Whitfield. I've been nominated for 3 regional Emmys documenting my work with the homeless as well as my personal adoption journey. Despite those accolades, the greatest award for me is truly providing the infrastructure for a transformed life. Visit kingdomroyale.com for more details. Crown a king and make a donation today. You know, I'm always humbled by guests who decide to give me the exclusive on their love journey. I always want to be the space, the platform that people trust to come share their love journey, whether they are married or dating or engaged, whether they're going through divorce. I want the Dear Future Wifey podcast to be the premier place for people to share that. So shout out to my boy, The Truth and BRI. I enjoy that, and I hope y'all did too. Well, here's my favorite part of the podcast. I speak to my future wifey. Dear Future Wifey, I prayed for clarity, for God to whisper in a way only my spirit will recognize. Yet I wasn't prepared for the moment when the whisper would become a thunderous pull, a sudden, undeniable draw to you. It didn't happen in the way movies portray. There was no spotlight, no orchestra swelling in the background, but there was a knowing, a deep, resounding sense that you are her. It wasn't just your smile or the way your laughter felt like home. It was something intangible, yet irrefutable. It was the way my heart steadied in your presence, how my restless spirit found peace. It was how the world seemed to make more sense when you spoke, your wisdom, your kindness, the way you see people, the way you see me. That draw isn't about perfection. It's about purpose. It's about the way your existence amplifies mine and makes me want to rise higher, love deeper, and walk more fully in the will of God. It's how I catch myself dreaming of our lives together, of the lives we'll touch as a couple, of the legacy we'll leave. It's how, in a moment, every doubt I carried about love melted away because the confirmation didn't come from my emotions, but from my soul. You are her. I am ready. Your future hubby. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Dear Future Wifey podcast. Remember, be lit, live intentionally and transparently, and don't stop loving. Make sure to subscribe to our Dear Future Wifey YouTube channel. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher. We welcome your support. Simply share our podcast with your friends and family.